Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about mushrooms, and not the kind that you can eat. So the tank itself has been doing pretty good the last few weeks. Obviously, you can see here I have a little bit of an algae problem on the sand bed, but we're going to deal with that in the next episode. Today, I wanted to talk about what we have in the two sumps. So the last few days, what I went ahead and did is actually removed all the coral from this sump and put it into the frag tank. I'll go ahead and clean this up in a little bit after I'm done. So when I moved everything into the frag tank, which as you can see here, I realized something is that I have a little bit of every kind of mushroom as far as how they propagate. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys all the different ways that these mushrooms split, which I find is super interesting, and kind of how you can propagate them. So the most normal way a mushroom propagates itself is going to be essentially by splitting, which this is a good example right here. So a lot of these, what happen is as they move across the plate, they'll leave like a little baby. For example, this little guy right here where he just kind of split off. It'll leave a little baby and then just walk away, and then that little baby will just start growing. And for me, that's the most normal way of propagating mushrooms on their own without assistance, which you can also see in this jawbreaker here that has a little baby, and my newest little yellow blue discosoma, which has a little baby in the corner that's a little hard to see. Now, my other mushrooms, such as these bounce mushrooms here, also propagate in the exact same way. The only difference here I've noticed is that when they do propagate, they don't leave a foot. They basically take off half the entire body. So what basically happened here, as you can see, they split in half and just split into this little baby right there. They didn't bother to leave a foot. They went for basically a whole body, which is pretty good, just because, you know, you get a bigger chunk once it does actually frag itself. Now, of course, you can go ahead and just frag it on your own. I've done it with these guys before. You basically just take a razor blade and you just go right through it, right through the mouth, and basically try to get as clean of a slice as you can, right straight down, and just go ahead and let them heal, and they'll just go ahead and do their thing. So that's by far the most common way that mushrooms are propagated. Now, sometimes you have mushrooms like this little guy here that basically never spit out babies, unfortunately. So for something like this, you kind of have to do a little special work to get babies to come out of them. You can actually see one baby right here in the corner. And what you do is you actually wait until these mushrooms grow out like a little foot, like what you see right here. And you take a little razor blade and you just cut off a little piece of that foot. And at some point, that foot's gonna grow ahead and grow into like a little baby like this. When the little baby is able to move onto, like, for example, the corner of this rock, I'll go ahead and cut it off and then put it onto its own plug. And that's pretty much how you would propagate something like this. I've had this frag for, say, a year already, and it's never made a baby. So it did need a little help just to kind of get it going. The coral itself does fine. It's not, dying or anything. But in order to get it to propagate, you just kind of have to give it a little bit of assistance. But that is another way that you can propagate mushrooms, like I said, just by cutting off this little knee right there. Alright, and for the final coral today, you gotta end it with something great. So obviously we have the OG bounce. Now, this OG bounce, well, from what most people tell me, most OG bounces, they don't propagate on their own very much. I think that might be because they get cut so often that they no longer propagate on their own, or just don't do it very often. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a shot. I've never done it before. We're just gonna cut it right in half and just see how it goes. Hopefully, you know, I get 2 good pieces out of it. What's really nice about this one is I do have about 4 actual bubbles, so I could cut it into quarters, but I'm not going to do that. We're just gonna go ahead and cut it in half and see if that'll pretty much do it. I'd much rather have 2 pieces than cut 4 and, you know, potentially lose one of the 4. So we're just gonna go right down the middle right there and see how it goes. Alright, we slice it right through. Now, a lot of people like to break the tile up. I'm not going to. I don't want to cause it even more stress. We're just going to leave it like that, hopefully heals, and in the next few episodes, we'll see how it does. But as always, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next episode, and hopefully we'll get a real nice update on this little guy right here. Peace.